Hello, I'm Mrs. Arnold, and in this video, we will talk about heat transfer. The main idea is energy is transferred through Earth's atmosphere. Question, or not questions, the question you should be able to answer at the end is how is energy transferred in the atmosphere? Energy transfer in the atmosphere. So before we begin, we need to understand particles. So all materials are made of particles which are always moving. Particles that are moving in random motion have kinetic energy. And the total energy of the particles in an object due to their random motion, so due to their kinetic energy, is thermal energy. Heat is the transfer of thermal energy from a region of higher temperature to a region of low temperature. Today, we are going to talk about three types of energy transfer. They are radiation, conduction, and convection. Radiation, the definition is the transfer of thermal energy by electromagnetic waves. Thermal energy is transferred from the sun to Earth by radiation. Radiation is how the sun heats the Earth. This picture shows that a heat lamp is transferring thermal energy by radiation to keep the food hot. As I mentioned, incoming solar radiation, so solar radiation, solar is referring to the sun, is either reflected back into space or observed by the Earth's atmosphere or its surface. You can find this particular picture in your textbook, and it does a great job of showing how solar radiation is observed or reflected by our planet. So when the sun's radiation reaches our planet, I'm just going to write this in a random spot. Okay. 38% is going to be reflected back by the surface of Earth, atmosphere of Earth, and also the clouds reflect 30% of the solar radiation back. Okay. 20% of the radiation is absorbed by atmosphere in clouds. And 50% is going to be absorbed directly or indirectly by Earth's surface and keeps Earth's surface warm. The rate of absorption of radiation is going to vary in any particular area based upon the physical characteristics of the area and the amount of solar radiation it receives. So when we're talking about the amount of solar radiation, the latitudes around the equator are going to receive more solar radiation than when we approach the poles. But in terms of physical characteristics, some examples will be that water heats and cools more slowly than land. This is part of the reason for like if you look at Seattle, a city like Seattle versus a city like St. Paul, Minnesota, they are at the same latitude, but Seattle is going to have going to experience more mild temperatures than St. Paul in the winter because they are near an ocean that causes it to not get as cold during the nighttime because the water is going to release a lot of heat energy over the night. And then on the same token, Seattle is going to have cooler temperatures during the summertime because the ocean there is just helping to moderate the weather. Another example is that darker objects absorb energy faster, they heat faster than light color objects. And you can experience this in the summertime. Excuse me. If you ever walked on dark asphalt, or should I say black asphalt, versus concrete, there is a difference if you walk barefoot on those two. Our next method of heat transfer is conduction. Conduction is the transfer of thermal energy between objects when their atoms or molecules collide. This is going to occur most easily in solids and liquids than air. This is because air molecules are farther apart, and so they don't come into contact as often as the particles in solid and liquids. say further apart, not farther. The final method of heat transfer is convection, which is the transfer of thermal energy by the movement of heated material from one place to another. And this is the method of how energy transfers through much of the atmosphere. Okay, so you in your guided notes have a picture of a pot on a stove, and we are going to label where radiation conduction in convection is occurring in the picture that you have. So the transfer of the heat of the stove to the pot is occurring by radiation. Within the pot, we have the hot water rising to the surface of the pot and going around in convection cells. That is convection. And then the handle of the pot is going to warm through conduction. Today we learned about the different ways that heat or energy moves through materials. Have a wonderful day.